Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zack, and today I am driving a 2007 Infiniti G35X. Up front is a 3.5 liter V6, and down below is a 5-speed automatic transmission. Now, I am super excited to be driving this Infiniti G35X for two reasons. First of all, it's actually my first G35X, which means that it's all-wheel drive. But the second, more important reason I'm driving this car is because it is stock. These cars, Infinitis in general, are pretty easy to modify, and so a lot of people do it. So it is very hard to find a stock Infiniti G vehicle, but I'm driving one here today and I'm very thankful for it. But if you would like to submit your own vehicle and have it reviewed here on the channel, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. But let's get back to that 3.5 liter V6 under the hood. Well, it is shared with vehicles like the Nissan 350Z. It's technically the HR engine, and what I've always liked about this engine family, the VQ engine family, is that it makes really solid power and really solid torque. It gives the Infiniti G35 a more premium feel, and that is definitely going to play into our final thoughts later on. Like I said, paired to it is an automatic transmission. Although you couldn't find manual all-wheel drive, you had to pick either rear-wheel drive manual or all-wheel drive automatic, or of course you could get rear-wheel drive automatic too. I like it. It's shifting fine. I don't have any complaints, and last but not least, it is all-wheel drive. So how does it feel to drive the Infiniti G35X? Well, I really like this experience. It is a more luxurious experience than what you would find in same year Nissans. The power is great. I love the all-wheel drive system. I at least love the fact that it has an all-wheel drive system. It's relatively quiet. There are a little few beeps and squeaks here and there, but this car does have 165,000 miles on it, so I can't blame it at all. The fit and finish is nice, that we'll talk about later on, and it's just a slam dunk of a driving experience. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have 4 gauges. Off to the left is my coolant temperature and tachometer, and off to the right is my speedometer and fuel. On the steering wheel, we do have our volume source, phone options, and cruise control, but we also get this little carbon fiber piece. I don't believe that this is stock, but you can tell me otherwise. Off to the left, we do have a climate control vent, our VDC off and trunk release, and moving out of the door, we have a speaker, our memory seats, power mirrors, power locks, and power windows. This is where you'll notice a little bit of this car's age as well, with the plastic on the door has been rubbed through a little bit. But again, this car is 18 years old and 165,000 miles old, so little things like that are going to crop up. Moving into the center, we do get our infotainment system. This is a screen where screens in cars were not the status quo in 2007. So this was actually kind of new, interesting, and hip to see here. It hasn't aged super gracefully, especially compared to modern tech, but you can buy a module on Amazon that will give this Apple CarPlay, so it will keep up in some capacity. Down below that, we have buttons for the radio. Very nice to see that. I love the tactile buttons for that. And then we have more radio buttons for volume, tune, seek, category, track, presets, things like that. And we get the Infiniti analog clock. I've always loved this touch in Infinitis in this era. The FX SUVs also have it. It just reminds you that, hey, you're driving something a little bit more special. Then we do have our climate controls, dual zone climate here in the G35X. Absolutely lovely to see that. We have our ashtray and cigarette lighter, and the shifter. The shifter is kind of Nissan-y, however, it looks a little bit more presentable, and this does have an aftermarket carbon fiber style piece at the top. Then we have some buttons down below. So we do have our snow mode on and off. This is for the transmission, but also with the all-wheel drive system, you're going to be a beast in the snow. However, then we have heated seats, which is definitely nice to have, but they're unlabeled. If you hit it forward, the light comes on and it's on. But then if you hit it backward, the light comes on and is on. I can't tell which is high and which is low for the heated seat. Then we do have cup holders, so we will do a big friggin' bottle test, and unfortunately it fails. You can just tell visually. And you can flip this little thing up to accommodate larger bottles, but even doing that, it starts to bend the plastic trying to put the big friggin' bottle in. So in good conscience, I cannot give it a pass. Then we get a center console and the seats. The seats are really nice. They are memory, they are power, and they are heated, and it has the Infiniti badge stitched into the backing of it, which I think is a really, really nice touch. Again, adding to that premium feel that I'm looking for when I drive something with an Infiniti badge. However, speaking of seats, we do have back seats, and this is a sedan, so let's go do a back seat review. All right, so we're in the back of the 2007 Infiniti G35X, and a couple of things to note. First of all, I fit okay. Would I want to sit back here driving from New York to LA? No. But it's also not terrible. Headroom is okay. I'm 5'11", not a small guy. My head's coming close to the ceiling, but I can kind of slouch down a little bit, but then my knees start hitting the seat in front of me. It's not a big executive car back seat, but it wasn't really intended to be that way. We do have a fold-down center console with 2 more cup holders in there. Nice cushiony brick. And overall, it's not a bad back seat. I fit, maybe not the most gracefully of any back seat I've ever been in, but I fit, and that is half. No, that is 90% of the battle. So, very cool. Let's hop into the very back. We'll take a quick look at the trunk and cargo space, and then we'll talk about the looks. All right, around the back of the Infiniti G35X, we do have a press and hold button here on the key fob, or there is a button in the middle of the spoiler. Pull it up like that, and as you can see, this is the rear trunk. Nothing really too crazy to write home about here. We do have the Infiniti first aid kit, really, really cool, but decent amount of trunk space. And I do want to note, decent amount of trunk space for having all-wheel drive. Sometimes the all-wheel drive systems can be pretty bulky in sedans, but not necessarily here in the Infiniti G35X. So very, very nice to see all of that. Now we gotta talk about the looks. And although I don't adore the look of this, I kind of prefer the previous generation of G35 just a touch more. I don't think it's an ugly car. I think it works well, and I think it has aged semi-gracefully. I think this could be excused for well into the 2010s of vehicle, when this is just before the financial crisis, actually, in 2007. So I think it has aged rather gracefully, and I hope that I can do the same. However, with all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving this Infiniti G35X? Well, I've loved the experience. It's been a good experience, and I really like this car. If you're looking for a car on the secondhand market that has all-wheel drive, that has a V6, that will be pretty reliable, besides a little bit of oil consumption issues, but pretty reliable, be fun to drive, this is a fantastic option, and I hope that that's good buying advice. But I can't ignore the elephant in the room. While I'm filming this car, just a few days ago, Infiniti announced that they are going to allow Infiniti dealers to merge with Nissan dealers, meaning Infiniti is going to the nursing home. Not many people are buying them here in early 2025, and Infiniti, and let alone Nissan in general, is somewhat in dire straits. And there's a couple reasons for that. First of all, they started to offer a CVT, which does not give a vehicle a premium feel. Premium vehicles should not have CVTs. But now with the QX60, they have removed the V6 in turn for a 4-cylinder turbo. Again, they are getting rid of something that made the car feel premium. And when you strip those two things away, the car just feels cheaper. And Infiniti is not a necessity brand. Nissan, I think, will always stick around in some type of capacity. I think that they have really good brand loyalty and they're recognizable. But Infiniti never really latched on as hard. Luxury vehicles are not a necessity. Cars are pretty much a necessity, but luxury ones aren't. And so Infiniti doesn't have that core need. It was always just a nicety. And when you bought an Infiniti like this car, you got a more premium feeling vehicle. The V6, although it's shared with the 350Z, it felt more premium and better than the Maxima's V6. This car could be had with all-wheel drive, where at the time the Maxima couldn't. You got more features in here. You had the standard leather in here. It also has push to start, which in 2007 was not standard across vehicles like it is today. This was a worthy argument of the justification of a higher price, but in today's market, Infiniti can't capture that. And so, right now, I'm driving the heyday of Infiniti. I would say the 2000s were their best decade. They had cars like this, but also the G35 Coupe, and they had the FX vehicles. The FX50 especially, that you could get a V8 in a mid-size SUV. That was impressive, and that was a bespoke engine. It was different than any Nissan SUV you could get at the time. That's what I miss about this era of Infiniti. They could stand on their own 2 feet and didn't need their hand held. But today, it's not the same. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Aaron for letting me borrow his Infiniti G35X here today. He has been absolutely wonderful to work with, and I appreciate him keeping this thing stock and not modifying it to high heaven, which all Infiniti owners do. It was nice to just relax and drive the Infiniti as it was supposed to be driven. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.